Hello everyone, welcome back. Back to the shop today. Been here for about 5 minutes and Marco's already yelling at me to throw stuff out.
Too many cracked tires. He's like, oh, these are oval burners. When was the last time you went on the oval and burnt tires? Never.
I'm gonna use them.
No, you keep 6 and that's it.
I need to get the fuel out of the fuel cell. So what I did was I hooked up jumper cables and going straight to the fuel pump there. And then up there, Marco.
Oh God, you really did that. Ta-da!
We have the entire FD rulebook here. I highlighted everything with things that need to be done, things that I've done. Sammy is over here creating the entire list on the whiteboard so we can see everything that needs to be done, cross it off, order stuff.
Is there a Bro 1?
Yeah.
Is that me?
No. Bro 2 is Pro 2. It's Bro to Pro, Marco. And right now we're still Bros until that car is a Pro car. And then it's Pro 2. So right now it's Bro 2.
So we won't be Bros anymore?
No, I'm going to be so...
This is stupid.
So what we're going to do is just write everything down, and then I can have a more visual list for you guys and for me, and just go down the list and start fixing everything, doing everything that needs to be done. A lot like how Bro-Am was.
Yay.
When I made this entire frame for this fuel cell, what happened was you can't put a fuel cell in because I have this Z-bar here. So what I did was I made this entire front section here removable, so you can see that bolts together and this part pulls off. So then I can lift the fuel cell up like a couple inches and then pull it straight out and up here. That's why I drain the fuel cell, so it's a lot lighter to pull an empty fuel cell out than having like 10 gallons of fuel in it. So pull this bolt off. This bolt off here. Come on.
Oh wait, you're recording.
There you go. You can just bend that.
Is it attached?
Nope. Should all be loose. Oh wait, my return side is still attached. But it's pretty much out. Thank you, Marco.
Look at all the space I made. Let me show you. Let me show you. This man has been collecting all this trash. Trash. Look at this.
Removed everything in the rear of the car. So this is all stripped and everything, so now I can get in here really easy. Remove the car around. I cleaned the whole shop. Marco was just sitting there doing nothing.
Whoa, whoa,
And I cleaned it.
Whoa, buddy. Slow your roll, okay? No, not around here. I cleaned all this. I found an extra broom that disappeared into the abyss of Matt's shop.
Oh, so you admit it's my shop.
Area.
So the car is pretty much down to bare nothing. I think I can leave the subframe in, the rear subframe out. I don't think I have to pull that. Pretty much the entire interior is stripped. I need to do a little bit of sound deadening in the back there in the corners. That shouldn't take more than 20 minutes. The entire inside stripped, so I just have a little bit more kind of like paint stripping to do, and then I'm going to stitch weld along pretty much all the seams here. Then I can start working on the engine bay here, cleaning all this up. I have a lot of stuff to remove here. I'm going to stitch weld all up around the strut towers there just to strengthen it, because I cannot add any support from here to the firewall due to FD rules and regulations. Once that's all good, seal up the firewall and then start wiring and making everything look nice. So that last bit of stripping I did on the car was the last thing I did on this car in about a week. So over the last week, I've actually been prepping my other car, which is the VQ car on nitrous, for another series that I'm actually running. That series is called Klutch Kickers. It's up in northern Florida, and it is a drag strip parking lot that they turned into a small technical track. And the cool thing about this series is it's with a lot of FD drivers. There's probably like 5 or 6 there, and 64 drivers total. A lot of great cars and a lot of great driving, but it's a smaller track, so pretty much any car, any tire can dominate there. So with that series, there's a $100,000 payout over the whole season. There's 5 rounds, $20,000 per round. So first place gets $10,000, second place gets $5,000, all the way back to 5th place getting $500. So for entry fee, wasn't too bad. It was $17.50 for the whole season. Entered for 5 rounds. So I went and I drove that this weekend. Putting that on the car, I got a new nitrous controller and I fixed some cam sensor issues. I thought because when I got to the event, I had nothing but electrical issues, as you can see here. That was my first qualifying run of the day. It sounded awful. I had one more run to actually make it into the event, but I was worried because the sensor, there was an issue. So what we had to do is me and my roommate Steven, I should say my roommate Steven, rewired the entire sensor, bypassed the entire ECU harness, and went straight to the ECU from the sensor. That fixed the issue. However, there was other small little issues with the car. Couldn't get the nitrous working and dialed in time, so I ran the entire event without nitrous. On my second qualification run, I actually qualified 9th, which was my first real run of the day without an issue with the car. So by qualifying 9th, I qualified for a bye run, so I didn't have to run top 64. I was able to move straight on a top 32, which came on Sunday. So on Sunday, I had a top 32 battle against Ethan H. He's in a white V8 240SX. Is a faster car. I was running no nitrous in my VQ car, so I had a little bit of a challenge on my hand. So here are the two runs. Tell me what you think, and you can see the result and what happened.
Up on names. Ethan actually got it. Sorry about that, man. They just called over the radio. They just announced it. Great drive, though, brother.
Thank you. So with that run, I knew I threw down a really solid lead, and my follow was a little bit off because I was playing a little catch up. He was a little more gripped up. He had a significant more power than me, so I really had a challenge to keep it in there. And then some small things with his lead run kind of threw me off. Like he threw a huge angle on the last transition, which is great for the judges, but definitely threw me off because I was thinking he was spinning, backed off a little bit. He continued to power through the corner, and I was like, man, should have put it on his door. But You know, you live and you learn. I ended up getting eliminated after they gave me the win due to mix up in names. Yeah, it's disappointing, but it was great first run, and I got to drive with a bunch of great drivers. So next round, when the car is actually dialed and I can actually get practice runs with nitrous and not having my first actual run in qualifying, I think we'll end up much better. So if you watch Taylor Ray's video, I'll leave the link in the description and a link right here. He actually did very well in this competition. I won't spoil anything. Go check it out. If you've seen his Instagram, you know how well he did. He did a fantastic job. So proud of him. Yeah, it's going to be great to get out there for the next couple rounds and try and beat up on Taylor and try and win some money out here to help build this bad boy. I'm going to start the stitch welding process on the interior here. So this seam along here, you can see some seam sealer in there. We're just going to let that ride. We're just going to leave that in there. And there's some seams up here. Stitch it about every inch or so. I've never stitch welded anything ever before in my life. If you have any comments, any tips, any tricks, you want to roast me for my welding, go ahead. I'm all up for learning. I like doing new things and stuff like that. So any tips, welcomed, recommended, anything. So I'm going to start doing this, give you a little time lapse of what I'm doing here. We can check out the welds after, and we'll see how it goes. And I was dialing in the settings pretty much all the way along here, all the way down here, just kind of figuring out, because I've never welded anything like this, and I'm on a cheap Harbor Freight welder. So we're just trying to figure that out. I think by up here, I kind of got it a little bit dialed in. Over down here, they're pretty sloppy. They're not too bad, but just dialing in the settings. Passenger seat's gonna go over on this side. You know, it doesn't really matter. And plus, the good thing about this stitch welding is, if it's done wrong, it's not done completely right. It's not the end of the world. You don't need it to pass tech. It's just something to help make the body more rigid, so all these body panels don't slide with relation to each other. So a lot of people do this full chassis on the underside and everything. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to do it on the inside. I'm going to do it in the engine bay, and I'm going to do a little bit on the rear strut towers just to help stiffen things up a little bit. This is the first car we're building, probably of many cars I'm going to be building in my life. So I'm not going to go crazy with this stitch welding. We have a lot of other work to do. I'm just going to get this out of the way. We might be cutting this transmission tunnel out, so that was good practice for me. Worst case, we just cut it out and I don't use it. Welder's out of gas. That's probably why some of my welds were very bad. New welding gas is in. Back to work. These welds felt a lot better than the rest of them for me. I think these are some of the better ones. You can see where all the burn marks are though, from all the seam sealer burning off. So I'll have to sit there and probably wipe it up, but I'm gonna repaint over it anyway. It's actually really starting to feel like a race car and feel like my race car. The next thing is going to be, which I already said earlier in this video, is clean up this engine bay, the seam where I want to stitch weld. That'll help bridge it up the front a little bit more, get better steering feel. Basically make this so any input that I give the car, it does exactly. There's no flex, there's no play, there's no bushing movement. It's all input to ground. And that's what we want to see, that's what we want to do, and that's how we're going to be competitive. That will be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, and if you don't already, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter. Everything's Matt DeGinge, same as this channel. So we will see you next time.